Hi, this is Glenn with Freedom for Life Fitness, and today we're going to talk about how you can improve your tech neck. Do you constantly find that your head is tilted forward? Does your neck feel stiff or give you pain throughout the day? Are you worried that you're going to get that hunchback posture as you age? Well, stick around to find out how you can prevent that. Hi, this is Glenn with Freedom for Life Fitness, and today we're going to talk about what you can do to prevent tech neck. First and most important is to analyze your daily habits. How are you at your computer screen? How are you holding your phone? How are you standing? Those are all things that are so important to identify to help with tech neck. So first, let's talk about how you're holding your phone. Most people hold their phone kind of low, and that naturally causes this big bowling ball up here to come forward. And that 17 pounds or so of your head is going to stretch out those muscles and create some tension. So most people look at the phone here. If we can raise that phone, it has a natural tendency to bring your head back. And speaking of phone, the same thing with your computer desk. Most people tend to look down. If we can get that computer screen raised higher, it's going to naturally cause your head to be more upright. And speaking of upright, if you can switch or at least do a combination of standing and sitting during your workday, you're going to be better off. Many desks have the option of going standing or seated. So doing a combination or go all standing if that works for you. Another habit that we need to be aware of is how do we stand? A lot of people stand like this with their arms crossed, and this is just going to accentuate that forward posture in our shoulders. So standing with your hands behind your back would actually be better, or down at your side. But if you're doing this for hours and hours a day, or if you're sleeping or you're on your couch and your head's propped up and your shoulders are propped up because you got this pillow behind you, that can be a problem. So watch how you're standing because that can play a role in poor posture. Another thing that you can do to correct poor posture is to consider getting a posture device. And there's three main types that I want to talk about. Now with technology, one is where there's a device where it has a little pad that's placed between your shoulder blade. It will know if you're doing this, and then it'll give you a little buzz where you're like, oh, I got to pull my shoulders back. So it gives you feedback when your posture goes out of kilter and then encourages you to get in good posture throughout the day. So that's one, a device that will give you a little buzz to encourage you to get in right posture. Another is actually a device. It kind of looks like a weight vest that you put on, and the way it's designed is it naturally pulls your shoulder blades back. So that's a device that you could consider wearing to help with your posture. And lastly, they have shirts, and the way they're designed, it naturally, with spandex material, pulls your shoulder blades back. Those are three ways to help encourage you to stand and to have better posture. So when we're practicing the poor posture, which I mentioned earlier, where we're looking down here, where we're maybe crossing our arms like this, the body adapts to that. So these are our anterior muscles. So in the neck, for example, these anterior muscles become what's called short and tight. Same thing with the shoulder muscles and our chest muscles. They become short and tight. And these muscles in the back, our posterior muscles, become loose and weak. So what do we need to do? We need to stretch it. We need to stretch these guys in the front, and we need to strengthen the guys in the back. If we do that, it's going to help with posture. So how do we loosen up the neck? Let's start with that. So I would recommend trigger pointing the neck, followed by a stretch of the neck. it's a good idea to trigger point first and stretch second. I have a variety of videos on neck trigger pointing and stretching on our YouTube channel that I would recommend that you check out. In addition to the neck, also the chest. This area here, if it's tight, it's going to naturally bring those shoulders forward, and we want to get those guys back. So again, like the neck, we could trigger point our chest and then follow that up with a stretch. As I mentioned before, trigger point first, stretch second. In addition to the chest, we want to trigger point our back and lats. The lats are this muscle here, and these really can contribute to tightness in our shoulders. So trigger pointing the back and lats, and then following those up with a stretch is a good idea. The longer you can hold the stretch, the better. So while a general rule of thumb is 30 seconds, we know that tissues change the longer we hold that stretch. So many of us are in a time crunch, so 30 seconds is definitely better than no stretching, but a minute is better than 30 seconds, and 2 minutes would really be ideal. And if you have a lot of time, multiple sets of stretches would be even better. So a good rule of thumb is the more the merrier when it comes to stretching. In addition to trigger point and stretching, we want to do some strengthening. So one of the things that we could do is chin tucks. That's just taking our chin back. You can use your finger if it's helpful for the cue. And that's going to reinforce the posture. It's not so much that it's a great strengthener, it's more of being aware. And good posture is more about habits than it is about absolute strength. So chin tucks. Besides chin tucks, taking your head back and stretching the front of your neck is a good idea. Also practicing a daily posture exercise, which I'll include a link of a longer video that will provide you with more details. Doing that daily is a good idea. Besides the neck and the daily posture exercise, there's some strength training exercises that we want to do. So again, these muscles are often short and tight, and the back muscles are loose and weak. So we want to strengthen those back muscles. And some type of rowing motion is the #1 exercise. So performing a standing row, a seated row is a good idea. Another is a reverse fly, where you take resistance bands or cables and pull your hands back during the motion. That's going to strengthen the posterior or back of our shoulders, which can help with good posture. Also, I'm going to talk more to you guys out there who like to do a lot of bench pressing. How much can you bench? Well, that's a common question. So guys tend to bench way more frequently than they should, or they neglect offsetting that with a row. So if you're interested in good posture and health, you could do a 1-to-1 ratio of 1 press with 1 pull. If you already have poor posture, you might even favor doing more pulls than presses. So push-ups and bench presses are the most common types of pushing. So don't forget to row, and you may want to limit your pushing like your bench press. Okay, so if you find you're starting to get tech neck, or you already have tech neck, don't worry, muscles are pliable. You can make improvements if you do the things that we talked about. You want to trigger point and stretch. You want to make sure that you have good postural habits. You want to make sure that you don't shortchange the amount of time that you commit to stretching. If you do these things regularly, you'll notice an improvement in your tech neck in no time. This is Glenn, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up below and subscribe to our channel. Also, head over to freedomforlifefitness.com and learn more about how we can help you reach your health and fitness goals.